Okay, this is day one of the complete PS2 rebuild, and I'm going to start here. Now, this is the old upper chassis. This is the Guns N' Roses one, and when I said I punched a hole in the top, I literally meant punched a hole. You can even see bits of plastic debris from when I first put it in there. I didn't have any tools at the time. What I had was a screwdriver and a pair of kitchen scissors, and that's what I put the hole in the top with. So, and then obviously stuck a Guns N' Roses sticker just to cover it up, because I genuinely did not know what I was doing. It worked, but through sheer luck. And then obviously when I put it back together, I severed this power cable. Now, the only thing that runs through here is a small little current for the light on there and the light on there, and the rest of it is just a switch. So where I've clipped the side, the eject button works and both the lights work, but this power button doesn't work. So I'm going to need to replace that. And then I think I've used masking tape, it looks like, to stick it back together. Again, didn't know what I was doing. This half is going to be retired. I'm going to remove the power switch here, the power switch little module here. That's all coming out. But this is being retired and being replaced with the Mouse House one that I bought. So obviously it needs cleaning. I'm going to run a very shallow bath with lots of soapy water in it and just scrub this within an inch of its life with my scrubbing toothbrush. The water can be warm but not too hot because I don't want to warp the plastic. So I've removed the memory card bits because it's got these metallic springs on it and I don't want them to rust. So I'll clean them separately, but for now that's ready to be submerged in soapy water. Here is the lower, and again, I don't think this mesh at the front is metal. I think it's like really thin plastic that I think they wrap like oranges and stuff like that in it. Anyway, so that I'm not too worried about. I'm going to scrub that again in warm soapy water, and that sticker, it really doesn't matter if that comes off because it's going to be removed and painted anyway. So that's the original lower, that's the new upper. All that's going to be cleaned. As far as the back, this is the only other part on the back. This is obviously where the fan sits, and it is, and I have actually cleaned this already, and it's still disgusting. So you can only imagine what it looked like before. That needs to be cleaned as well, because this, and this is going to be painted, as well as the new bezel, which I'll probably scrub as well, and the memory card bits. All going to be painted, so they all need to be very, very clean. The main motherboard here looks okay. It had some residue spilt on it. Some kind of fluid got into it. I'm not quite sure what it was. It's probably either Jack Daniels or something that got spilt on it, and it was just caking the inside of this thing. I mean, there's a little bit of it still here. And again, I've scrubbed this and it's still on there. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's all that's left on that bit, but it's all over the board. So I've scrubbed it and kind of cleaned it to the best of my abilities. This part up here is the AV multi-out. This is all going to be desoldered. So once it's cleaned, like properly cleaned, because I'm going to go at it with isopropyl alcohol and whatnot, I think job number 2 is to remove that and replace it with the HDMI adapter. So that's next. But for today, cleaning. So this needs to be cleaned as well, but with alcohol. This over here is it's kind of like a divide that goes in the middle between the main motherboard and the drives and the power board and stuff like that. This again needs to be cleaned because again it's covered in, I think, whiskey, but I'm not sure. And then on the underside, what I've done is I've marked this section here with permanent marker. That I'm going to need to hacksaw off, but that's for the next video. Today, just going to clean it. And then this bit here, this is the actual heatsink that sits on top of the main motherboard. This all needs to be cleaned. This is like a little plastic piece in the middle. That's going to have to come off and be cleaned. So yeah, and then obviously this is the new bezel that I bought. That's going to have to be cleaned as well because that's being painted. So for today, we're going to clean that in soapy water, clean that in soapy water, clean that in alcohol, clean that in alcohol, and definitely clean that in alcohol. Okay, so what I've done is I've just filled up a sink full of very, very, very lukewarm water, just enough to get the soap to work. And then what I like to do is take a scrubbing brush and literally just put a little dollop of any standard dish soap would do. Dip it in, dip the water in, and then just give it a good going over with the brush. Generally speaking, because of these ridges, it's going to be really hard to clean it with anything else. So just a brush, rinse it off, and obviously let it sit. Now this is the network adapter, which again I've taken the metallic screws out of, and it's just the plastic chassis. So that's done. Then what I'm going to do is go through with the lower here, the upper, and even the little fan covering. So just like you would at home doing a washing up, except with a toothbrush. So you can get right inside the little nooks and the crannies and get everything out. Because again, we want the paint to adhere to this, so it's got to be super clean. Obviously it's going to pick up a little bit of dust in between because the painting is the last job I'm going to do, but as I'm putting this thing together, it'd be nice if it wasn't covered in like dirty, disgusting, whatever the hell that was before. Plus also I've got to get all of the dirt and the grime out of the mouse graveyard that I bought off eBay. So again, soapy water, you know, nice, warm, but not too hot because you don't want to warp the plastic. Toothbrush, give it a good going over. Also got to get that sticker off. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I've managed to get most of the mouse debris out of it. The only thing I haven't managed to get off is the leftover sticker residue from the cereal sticker, which is on the back. But that doesn't matter because when this thing is bone dry, I'm going to rub a little bit of WD-40 on there and it will get it off a-okay. So what I'm going to do now, as this is about as clean as it's ever going to get, and the network adapter and the fan and the lower, what I'm going to do now is just empty the sink and run some cold water just to make sure all of the soap, all of the dish soap, everything is off, and the only thing left on it is water, because I want it to dry and I don't want it to dry with any soap on it. Yeah, leave that on the draining board, good as gold. Perfect. Okay, and we are all done. What a difference a tiny little bit of soap and water and 20 minutes makes. Everything is absolutely sparkly clean and ready to go. So this is the upper, the new upper. This is the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That is all nice and clean, ready to go. The lower, which was the original lower, all that grill has come up absolutely lovely and is all ready to go. The network adapter, a few little dings, a few little scratches, but it doesn't really matter because that's getting painted anyway. That's also ready to go. The fan cover, absolutely ready to go. And I took out the power and the reset, the eject and the power module, took that out and cleaned that with a little bit of alcohol and the toothbrush. The problem with this is that because everything is so angular on the old PS2, that like the shape of everything is so super angular, any residue or any spillage or any, you know what I mean, drinks that end up working its way onto it or into it are going to get absolutely everywhere. So I made sure I cleaned it with the brush, cleaned it with a little bit of alcohol, absolutely brand spanking new. So that's all ready to go. I also cleaned with an air duster and just a tiny little bit of alcohol the PCB. That's absolutely fine. Got a little bit of residue up here, but I don't know whether that's the drinks that got spilled on it or whether that was originally on the board, like that's flux or something. Not really worried. It works fine. Not going to, worry too much about that. Absolutely fine. That's going to be ready to desolder. The silver shielding, I could not get that off. Whatever that was, again, part of the same thing, has actually tarnished it. But other than that, all it took was a little bit of dusting, a little bit of brushing, a little bit of air dusting. It's come up fine. That's fine. I'm happy with that. That's okay. And again, that tarnish, that's actually on the metal itself. There's not a lot I can do about that. I don't really want to start removing this clear plastic yet because it's just double-sided taped in. Don't want to lose it. Gonna leave it. I'm fine with it. The outside is fine. It's just on the inside, so I'm okay with that. The only other thing I've got left to do is because the PS2 is modular, I've taken the ribbon out of this. This is for memory cards and the controllers. And as you can see, lots of caked up gunk and grime in there. Going to give it a quick squirt with that, quick brush with that, and it's going to be absolutely good to go. So that's it, I'm done. It's clean. This is now ready to be painted. This is going to need a little bit of adapting as well. So I think on the back of, where is it? No, it's on the back of this one. So where the power comes out on this little piece here, as you see, it says mains power, and then it says AV multi-out. About, I don't know, about a centimetre above that, I'm going to have to cut out the HDMI, a new spot for the HDMI. You'll find out why later, but basically this is on like a periscope system. And it's going to be hard to fit in the new board onto there, but I'll worry about that later. For now, day one, everything's clean, super happy with it. I did manage to cut my hand though. Like, I don't know how I've managed to slice open my hand on a piece of plastic from, 20 years ago, but never mind. Anyway, so that's clean, it's all ready to go. Stage 2, desoldering the main PCB.